President Trump eager to change the subject.
It's become the story he simply can't escape.
This story continuing to annoy, frustrate, and to anger President Trump.
Jeffrey Epstein may have died during President Trump's first term, but the fallout from his case has been threatening to derail his second.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
The strategy so far?
I call it the Epstein hoax.
Distract. And one person,
Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him?
has become the piece de resistance.
Obama's been caught, President Obama. It's Obama.
President Trump circulated this bizarre fake video and has even accused him of treason, prompting a rare rebuke from the former president's office last night. They said the claim was outrageous and a weak attempt at distraction. In the last hour, the attacks intensified. The Director of National Intelligence speaking at a White House press conference.
There was a gross politicization and manipulation of intelligence by the Obama administration intended to delegitimize President Trump even before he was inaugurated, ultimately usurping the will of the American people.
In an extraordinary move, the crisis has led to Republicans shutting down the House a day early for summer recess. The Speaker, Mike Johnson, seeking to avoid a vote on releasing the Epstein files.
No, we don't have any fear. No.
He insists he's not running scared.
No, there's no fear. There's no fear.
But some seem less than comfortable with the decision this morning. Sir, do you think it's right the House is breaking early for recess?
Hi.
Hi. Do you think it's the right decision? Do you think it's right the House is breaking early for recess?
I'm heading on to the committee right now.
Do you think it's the right decision? I'm just asking if you think it's the right decision the House is breaking early. Do you think the Epstein files will go away over the summer recess? Enjoy your holiday. Democrats were a bit more talkative.
You got to talk to the Speaker. He's making all these decisions, canceling Congress because they want to cover up the Epstein files. I think that's disgraceful. But you need to talk to him. He makes the schedule for the House.
For the Journal reported Trump allegedly sent Epstein a letter in
Fallout from the Wall Street Journal's reporting on a strange letter Donald Trump allegedly wrote to Jeffrey Epstein for his birthday still threatens to fracture the president's base. Will Sommer reports on fringe communities and conspiracy theories.
I think there's this sense Republicans are doing what we might call here a limited hangout. They want to put out some stuff, but they don't want to sort of open the Pandora's box. And the question is whether they're going to be able to get away with that, or if the pressure and if there's going to be new reporting about Trump's ties to Epstein that forces them to release more.
Some of Donald Trump's past scandals have been rationalized and dismissed by his supporters. But as new footage keeps emerging,
this video has never been seen before in this.
It's harder to see how the heat is taken out of this one.
Well, I've been speaking to the Liberal talk show host and political commentator David Pakman and began by asking how effective President Trump's distraction strategy seems to be.
Well, he hasn't been able to distract some key supporters of his who are very clearly saying, we're not falling for it. What I've been told for 3 years is important. Now overnight, I'm supposed to forget about. So I'm talking people like former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, former Fox News host Megyn Kelly, and other influencers who have said, we're not forgetting about this just because Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are now saying there's nothing to see here. However, if you look at polling, only about half of Republicans have come to believe that Donald Trump is trying to cover something up here. Now, the fact that half do believe that is significant, but half still don't, and there's a question as to how much of a voting issue this is really going to be.
If this doesn't go away now, what might he do next?
It's anyone's guess. And one of the things we've learned from studying 20th century authoritarianism is the more that the pressure builds and the more that people like us look and say, this seems like more pressure than he could possibly withstand, then they figure out how to push the boundary even further. We know Trump's willing to do it because he's floated everything from suspending habeas corpus to having former President Obama prosecuted, and that's just in the last couple days, right? Never mind the last 6 months. So that is a sort of terrifying prospect. I don't think that's a good reason to stop asking for transparency, but when you're dealing with these authoritarians and sort of dictatorial wannabe types, you do have to consider how far might they go.
It's striking that having accused Obama of treason, Obama has not dignified that by coming out himself and addressing the cameras. He's had a spokesman do it. But what does that tell us about how the Democrats are playing this?
Well, I see that a little differently. You know, we can talk about how Democrats are playing this more broadly, and that's one conversation. But Barack Obama is actually doing what most former presidents have done, which is you don't, when you are a former president, come out and take the camera for yourself. This was the way that George W. Bush operated. This was the way Bill Clinton and Trump was sort of an anomaly in that sense while Biden was president.
But no one's ever been accused of treason before, have they?
That's exactly right. And so where I'm getting to is the fact that President Obama even put out a statement actually shows you the sort of absurd and dystopian nature of what we are seeing here. And I think it's fine for President Obama to just put out a written statement. On a personal level, I would love to see him speak on camera about it. That's, of course, his choice. But the fact that it has even happened really shows you just the farcical nature of what this administration is now pursuing.
I mean, does this boil down to an internal fight within MAGA, ultimately? Or is this something that the Democrats will be able to exploit politically?
I believe that the Democrats should try to exploit this politically, but listeners to my program know I am not the most optimistic about Democrats' ability to coherently and saliently exploit anything. And so to that extent, I think it's a good thing for Democrats that right now this is Republicans versus Republicans. It's which Republicans in the House want a vote on releasing the Epstein files and which Republicans are against it. Which Trump cabinet members are happy to go along with nothing to see here, the list we said exists doesn't exist, and which cabinet members or administration officials are not happy to go along with that. Reporting is that Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino is considering leaving the administration if Attorney General Pam Bondi stays, for example. So at some point, Democrats probably will need a coherent plan to exploit this. But for now, I've been happy to let this kind of MAGA civil war fester.
David Pakman, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And you can see more of my conversation with David Pakman in the latest episode of The Forecast. You can watch it on our YouTube channel, it's on Spotify, the Channel 4 website, or wherever you get your podcasts.